scrapyard to the stars, we build our hot rods and racing cars. Racing legends come alive, in this metal we revive. From the track strip to the street, this addiction makes our life complete. Dragon drive ain't just for show, it's the pulse that makes us go. 780 speed and custom, 780 speed and custom.
Well, good morning, good evening, good night. I'm Ryan. This is 780 Speed and Custom. Hope you like the new intro. AI is something. I really like the new song, so hopefully you do too. I thought it was pretty cool. If you saw the last episode, we started the AC install. Unfortunately, this isn't going to be a continuation of that. My AC stuff is still on back order and will be so for probably another month before it even ships. So that side of the project's going to be on hold for a little bit, but I did get a few parts, mainly everything I need for the shifter. Basically, I'm trying to utilize as much of the factory stuff as I can in this car, and I really didn't want to put a floor shifter in. So I found a company that makes some adapter brackets and some linkages that will change that column so it indicates properly for a 4L60 and utilize the factory column shift. So that's pretty cool. I'll show you that and then we can get to install it. This is the company in question, Shiftworks. I believe it came out of Ontario, New York. Wasn't the cheapest set of linkages, and I'm sure I could have figured that out on my own, but this is just going to work. And the cool part is they've got the replacement lens for the column so that it'll indicate properly as well, in theory. Oh yeah, so this is the cool bit right here. Can't really see it in the bag, I guess. So this lens will replace the lens that's currently on the column. Obviously it had a glide in it, so it doesn't have nearly enough provisions, but this will replace that lens, so it'll accurately display what gear you're in. And then here we've just got some relatively universal linkages that will hook up to the factory linkages and my 4L60, so everything will shift properly. Pretty cool. Costs about as much as a floor shifter, but I like this better. So I will get to installing it. All right. Well, this is the lens I'm talking about here. It's got your park, reverse, neutral, drive, and low. Obviously set up for power glide. So that new lens I bought will replace this. It looks pretty easy to change out. There's just a couple of screws here. So I'll do that first, and then we can go ahead and hook up the linkage. Got my new lens here. Hopefully this comes out nice and easy. Oh yeah. I'm a little bit worried about this stuff being seized in here, but obviously not. Nothing to it. So there's our old lens. I'm actually gonna maybe clean this up a little bit and then we'll install the new lens in there and screw it back on. Oh, there's even a little bulb in there. Neat. Okay, so I just cleaned this surface up a little bit and gave the cover a bit of a polish. It's fairly pitted and starting to rust, so not much I can do about that, but it turned out okay. It'll work. Not about to replace it, so then it's just a matter of sticking our new lens in here like so, and then we'll screw this back down. Do I have that right? I don't think I do. Like that. Makes more sense. Nothing to it. Looks good. So there's the installed product. You can see whenever I hook this up, it should indicate the gear. And I didn't realize there's a little light in there, so that'll illuminate as well. Looks good. Okay, so that's got the indicator installed on the column. Quite happy with the way that turned out. Next step is going to be to figure out how I'm going to set up this linkage to work, obviously. My plan is I'm going to utilize a factory neutral safety switch and I guess it'd be the backup light switch. I'll utilize that. I've got a pigtail for both connectors on there. So I can wire it in how I please, because obviously on the GM this would have went through the ECU. That's not going to happen here, so I'll figure out some wiring later on this, but I'll be able to make it work, I'm confident. So first I'll have to install this, and then we can try and figure out how to make this shifter linkage work. So we'll get to it. All right, so start by installing the neutral safety and backup switch here. Should go on something like that, yeah. Oop. Maybe not. It does go on there. I just had to push a little harder than I thought I should have to. And camera kind of cut out there, so apologies for that, but the switch is on there. So like I mentioned earlier, this will just be my neutral safety and my backup switch. Obviously I'm not wiring it into the ECU, so I will just make it work with that pigtail. Shouldn't be an issue. I'm definitely not the first one to do that, so I know it's possible. Oh yeah, there we go. Okay, so switch is installed. All right, let's see what this little package entails. Lincoln's hardware, nice billet machine piece. That'll go on the shifter. And obviously shift rod here. Some instructions. Well, the next part is simple enough. This billet piece obviously slips onto the transmission shifting shaft. And then there's these two bushings. One's 10 mil, one's 3/8. I'm obviously going to need the 10 mil. So this will slide on. That will screw in to tighten it onto the shaft. And then this bolt goes through from the inside. And then this will bolt on like so. That way the shifting rod can screw in here, and then you can change the length of this depending on your steering column. This will go on the other end and connect it to the column itself. So pretty straightforward, but I think it's going to work great. Okay, so obviously I've got my Neutral safety and backup switch installed. Now this says to install it with the transmission in park, which it is. And this will just slide on like so. And then this retaining nut goes in here. If I can get it started. Where is this the one? That's the one. That gets installed like so. Just like that. Then you can adjust this wherever it needs to be in order to line up with your column. So now I've got to install that shifting rod and take some measurements, figure out how much I need to cut out to make that line up. So yeah, nothing to it. Well, this is probably one of those things I should have done before I put all this stuff in here, but I'll make do. I don't even know if you can see it. There's the factory shifting rod right there. So I've got to remove that and then install this new one. Okay, well, if we dive down in here, that's the mechanism on the column itself. Pulled the old shifting rod off and obviously installed that tie rod end. So that's, once I get my length, I can just connect those two ends and it'll complete the shifter. So basically as you shift down on the column, this rotates down. As you shift up, it'll pull on that up. So looks like it'll work good. It's not going to be in the way of my exhaust. It's not going to hit the firewall, brake lines or anything. So yeah, looks like this is going to work good. I did have to change things down here a little bit. I just undid this here and flipped it around so that the tie rod end was on the outside, because otherwise it was hitting this bolt if it was too low here, and then when it shifted all the way up into park, that ear on the transmission was actually in the way. So obviously this is the way it's supposed to be. Had I actually read the instructions, I would have figured that out. But so I just need to figure out what position this needs to be in, how long that rod is, and we'll be good to go. This is the original shifter rod. Obviously, this is my new one. So all I did is I stuck this end into the column end, and then let it hang down by the transmission, kind of worked it up and down to see roughly where it needed to be positioned to clear everything and to still shift. Then I just marked those two spots with a felt marker. So then I measure. So I need to remove somewhere between 5 and 5 1/4 inches from this rod, and it should be the right length. I still have some adjustment in either tie rod end, so it doesn't have to be an exact science, but that's going to get me into the ballpark where things are going to work, and I'll be able to adjust it, fine tune it to exactly where I want it. So I'll go ahead and chop that 5 inches off, and we'll go from there. And obviously, you know, goes without saying, this was just to measure it, transfer those marks to the side that I actually want to cut, because obviously we don't want to chop off our threads. So I'll cut it here and make my adjustments. Okay, so that's the rod installed. I could have bent this a little bit but I just chose to clearance the body, give myself as much room as possible. And yeah, I did the old measure once, cut twice thing. Had to cut a little bit more off to make this work. Didn't account for the fact that this didn't screw all the way in. Stupid mistake on my part, but not a big deal. But yeah, looks like she'll work. So I'm just gonna hop in the cab and cycle it, and we'll see what it looks like from underneath. Okay, so obviously that's in park, reverse, neutral, drive, 2 in 1. Looks good on this end. And then to show you on this end, park obviously, reverse, neutral, drive. Shifts beautifully, so pretty happy about that. Column shift works with the 4L60. Nice Prundle. Stuff's coming together. Well, that's got my shift linkage installed. Shiny new Prundle. Everything looks good. The shifter feels good. It seems to be working fine. It does deflect a little bit, you can see in the video, but that won't cause an issue. And I did have to clearance the firewall slightly. Also, not a big deal. But yeah, we've got a shifting car now. So that's cool. In previous episodes, we've installed the engine, the transmission. We've got our intake buttoned up. We've got a new fuel system, front to back, fuel rails, fuel lines, pump, regulator, tank, you name it. We've got our cooling system just about buttoned up. Brakes are done. I've switched over from a single to a dual master. We put disc brakes in the front, all new lines. Everything's nice and shiny and good there. We've started the AC install, got the engine harness wiring laid out. Things are coming along. We're definitely well on our way to having a running and driving 1964 Biscayne, which I'm super excited about. Spring's not too far away. We still got lots to do, but I am confident we're going to get it done. So stick around for the build series. If you haven't watched it already, I've got a playlist. All the videos are there right from when I picked it out of the field till now. Yeah, so that's probably going to do it for this episode. Appreciate you guys stopping by the channel, and we'll catch you in the next one.
780 speed in custom. Thanks for watching. 780 speed in custom.